Assalamu alaikum and welcome to part 3 of this algorithm development series. And in this part, I'm again going to go back to some pattern development over here. And in this pattern development, our shape is going to be, you can call it as a butterfly wings as well, but I will actually call it as an X over here, as you can see over there. I will come back to the butterfly, which is actually this thing over there, which is actually a little difficult as compared to this thing. I actually, before going on towards this thing, I actually want to go it. So in part number 4, I will be basically discussing this one over there. And as you can see over there, I have discussed this Floyd's triangle using 1 zeros. I have discussed Fibonacci series, or maybe a Floyd's triangle using a Fibonacci series over there. So in this part, I'm going to discuss this shape over there. You can call it as an X shape over there. But again, this X shape is going to be again a dynamic. And by word dynamic, I mean that the number of rows are going to be again odd. And this is going to be just an X printed over there. So without delay further, let's see how this, again, this is going to be based on the nested for loops over there. So let's just take this picture and analyze this first over there, and then we are going to develop the pseudocode, or the actually the development over there. Now before we go on, whenever, remember, the pattern is there, and that pattern is going to be based on something, a generic number, and there is a condition that it has to be always odd or it has to be always even, then you have to, first of all, and it's x wise and y wise symmetrical thing, then of course this means, now if this was something like this, supposedly if it was a simple, let me just draw a simple picture, and if it was something, a rectangle over there. Now this rectangle over there, if you have drawn this rectangle over there, this rectangle is symmetrical with respect to this axis also, and it is also symmetrical with respect to this axis over there. So this means that it's going to be based on for loop, of course, a nested for loop, because one inside row is going to be the outer loop, and then inside one row the printing is going to be done. Now same thing over here, if you can see over there, this is also a nested for loop. But here the problem is this, that inside the first row there are hysterics but some spaces over there. Then inside the second row there is again a space, and then hysteric, and this is changing, which means every row is different. This means that there is going to be some if else statements over there, and that will be completely true also for this butterfly shape as well. And I will show you this butterfly shape in most probably the next part over there. So before we go on to the most difficult one, is actually the butterfly shape, or maybe we'll talk about the pyramid also, maybe in that development, and we will see on. So if you have something like this, and you have to first analyze, so that you can find out the if else statements that you require. Now since over here the condition is that it has to be an odd number, so when it is has to be an odd number, now I have to analyze it if it's an odd number. And the shape which I have drawn in front of you, if you can see over there, this is row number 1, row number 2, this is row number 3, this is row number 4, this is row number 5, this is row number 6, and this is row number 7. And why odd? Because the center one, where actually these alls are actually going to cross, because this is an X shape over there, so that's why it has to be odd. If it was something 8 over there, then this central point will not be just 1, because if there's an odd number, take that odd number out, you have an even number in front of you, half of them is above this central point and half of them is below this central point. So it has to be always an odd number, remember this thing. Otherwise this picture is not practically possible. Then of course, then you will have to have two hysterics over there. Then certainly maybe then you can actually make it possible. That is also possible with a little trick inside it, that you have to make some if else statements over there. Otherwise, with an odd structure, there is always going to be one row which is going to be in the center one, and that's going to be just one row over there. Now before I analyze this thing, let's see over there. Again, I am going to go with the very same analogy, that the nested for loop, you have I for the outer loop and j for the inner loop over there. And I'm going to use some fictitious lines over there. Let's see, I draw these lines over there. Let me just draw these lines over there. So this is my row number 1. So in fact, let me just make it a little thick color so it will be easy for you. So this is my row number 1. This is my row number 2. This is my row number 3. This is my row number 4. This is my row number 5. This is my row number 6. and this is my row number 7. So this is my and of course, since this is going to be the outer loop, so this means this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, this is going to be 4, this is going to be 5 and 6 and 7. Remember, whenever you have to find out the I and j conditions or if else statements over there, you have to actually find out based on some diagram. So you have to do this thing first of all, maybe on 5 odd number, 7 odd number. Now you can do this for 5 as well. I'm taking this 7 over there so I can easily explain this thing. So you have 7 rows over there. So this is the outer loop over there. So this means this is the value of I which is going to be in front of you. Now let me just take this a little down so I have a little space on the top over there. And now if I make this one using, now I'm going to call for the inner loop. Now inner loop, you have to print this thing, you have to print a space over there. So this means now I draw those vertical lines in front of you. So when I have this vertical line, this is my first time when this is going to be run. Then this is going to be the second time when the inner loop is going to be run, and the third time when this is going to be run. So when the fourth time is going to be run, and of course fourth will be at the very center because again odd number, so this center one will be the same thing. And then I have this 5 over there, that will be over here. Then I have the 6 over there, which will be exactly like here. And then I will be having the 7th one over here like this. And this is the J over there. And of course, this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3, this will be 4, this will be 5, this will be 6, this will be 7. And now, why the reason I have made this I and j over here, and that's very something important, because I will use this diagram for the next, that is actually the butterfly picture as well. So I will just copy this picture, and this is going to be very, very important when I'm going to develop the butterfly. So I'm just copying it over there so I can give you an idea what I'm actually trying to do. So I'm making this one over there so I can develop the algorithm over here. Now, if you see very closely over there, now see this very importantly. First row, when I is equal to 1, where are the statics printed and where are spaces printed? Now, if you see very closely, statics are on the extreme ends. Then on row number 2, it's printed on here. Then on 3, it's printed again one closer. Then on 4, there is just one printed. Then you have on row number 5 again, now they are separating with one space over there. Then you have 1, 2, 3 spacing over there. Now, if you see over there, now what is the, let's see where statics are being printed. We need to find out that where statics are going to be printed. For that purpose, let's see over here for I equal to 1. Now, when I is equal to 1, now see this very carefully. When I is equal to 1, the points where the statics are printed are when j is equal to 1 and 7. Then for I equal to 2, see this thing, j is equal to 2 and j is equal to 6, then statics are printed. I guess you are now getting the point. Why? Because this one is the row. So where is printed? J, this thing and this thing. So 1 and 7. Similarly, 2 and 6, 3 and 5. So let me just put it, complete it over there. So I is equal to 3, j is equal to 3 and 5. Then when I is equal to 4, which is actually the fourth row, which is actually the outer loop, j is equal to just 4 because there is just one printed and that is over here. Then when I is equal to 5, j again this time is going to be 5 and 3, or actually 3 and 5. And then I is equal to 6, then j again is equal to 2 and 6. And then I is equal to 7, j is equal to 1, 7. Now, if you see very closely over there, one thing which is very simply, you are getting the condition over there. You have to print in static when I and j, they both are same. And that is exactly over here. You can see whenever I and j, they both are same, you have to print in static. So one of the conditions, if I write it down now, so one condition to print an static is this, that I is equal to, equal to in programming is actually I with 2 equal to and j. So you have this condition. Next thing, this one is done. Now, if you see very closely, now you have to, this is again based on your mathematical skills and making this diagram and making this table in front of you. Here you have to print every static over there which is there. Now if you see very closely over there, this 1 plus 7, 2 plus 6, 3 plus 5, they all come out to be, if you add these two, 1 plus 7, 8, 2 plus 6, 8, 3 plus 5, 8, 3 plus 5, 8, 2 plus 6, 8, 1 plus 7, 8. What this is telling you? Whenever the sum of I plus j is equal to 8, and what is 8? 8 is actually equal to the number of rows plus 1. So what is that? So here you are doing this one, I plus j, 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 I plus j. And this has to be, let me just make it a little far away, so I have some space over there. Actually the space is a little less over there, so I'm just making it a little closer over here. So what is the condition? When this is equal to n plus 1, 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 equal to n plus 1. What is n? N is 7. Now just clarify, you have not done some mistake. J is 1, 7, 1 plus 7, 8, 7 plus 1. This all is always going to be 8. So this is constant. So this means you have it over there. So if it was n was 5, then this would be 6. Then of course it will be different. Then here, this means 1 will be printed, 7 will be printed. When j will be 2, let's say j will be 2, will this be still acceptable? Yes, because what is I? I is equal to 1. What is j? J is equal to 2. 1 plus 2, 3. And this is 8. So this is not true. So this will not be printed. Again, let's see for 1 plus 4, 5 plus equal to 8. Sorry, this is also not equal to. So this will be only printed when this condition is true for I equal to 1, I equal to 2, I equal to 3. So the second condition which you are going to get over there, that is the second condition for printing is this, that I plus j is equal to n plus 1. Remember, don't forget to put this two parentheses over there, because the condition is something like this, and then you can have the outer parenthesis also added. So these are the two conditions for the printing of the asterisk. Remainder, wherever this condition is not fulfilled, you can just print space. So now you have the program in front of you. So you just only have to do one thing. Now let's just go on the other side. You know the conditions over there. You just have to now, let me just write down the for loop again in front of you. You have the for loop, the for loop int I equal to, again, you're not going to start from 0. Remember, I'm going to start from 1. Why? Because I have named it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I had made it 0, 1, 2, then of course I had to start from 0. So this is very important. You have to start from 1. You have to decide on it what you have to start from there. Then afterwards, int I equal to 1. And here, now this is the outer loop. And the outer loop goes on for the rows. And how many rows are there? 7. And what is 7? 7 is actually n over there. So this means I is equal to 1 and I will be less than equal to n. Why? Because it will start from 1 and go up till 7. If n is equal to 7, maybe n is equal to 9, maybe n is equal to 7, and I plus plus. That will be all. You start your parenthesis over here and you start your next for loop. And this time, let me just use another color over there. And if I start it over here, this will be for loop int I, int not I, this will be j actually. So int j is equal to 1. And now, what is the condition for this thing? Of course, it will be again also n, because the pattern you are printing has 7 rows, 7 columns. So in each row, you have to print 7 times. So inside thing is going to be printed 7 times over there. Now what you have to print, either a static or a space, that will be decided by this condition. So here the condition would be j less than equal to n again, and then this will be j plus plus, and you have it over here. And then this will be, now inside this for loop, now you have to first of all find out what is the condition. Now what is the first condition over there? The first condition is when I is equal to j over there. So this means that I'm now going to use a different color inside for the condition for you to understand. So if I is equal to j. This is the first condition. Now, since any of these two conditions can be workable, so what this means over there, that you have to put an or symbol between it, and the or symbol is going to be by using these two lines over there, and then there will be I plus j equal to n plus 1. You can put the parenthesis over there just for the safety, so this will be all. So when if I is equal to j, or, because this is or, because sometimes this condition will be fulfilled, sometimes this condition will be fulfilled. So for that purpose, this is or over there. Remember, this is the symbol of or. Just to give you an idea what I'm actually talking about here, this is the or, and if it was and, then this would be ampersand symbol like this. So here this means after this thing, you are inside this thing, when this two conditions, any one of them is true, then you are just going to printf, and inside it parenthesis just static, or maybe instead of static you want to print some number, maybe some other ASCII symbol, then you can have just printf. Else, if this condition is not true, then of course just go on to print f. I'm using block letters over there. You can change it because this is a pseudocode development I'm trying to do over there. So I hope this is not difficult for you. So else, otherwise a space is printed. Why space? Because where there is not an asterisk, there is a space printed over there. So here, if these are 1 and 7, the remaining 5 are spaces. Then if 2 and 6 are printed, then this are spaces over there. Then you have this one and your if else statement. Okay, that's all. This loop can then finish on. Let me just finish off this loop. Let me just make it a little space over there. I have forgot the braces for over here. So my code inner side is going to be this thing. That's all. So you have if else. Oh, sorry, not this thing. I have again done a mistake over here. This would be inside this thing, and I will be having a green color. Actually, I'm using two different colors, so that's why. And when this is done, with the inner loop is done, then for the outer loop you have to write down printf \n. Why? Because the outer loop is handling the rows over there. So when this row is complete, you have to add \n. So this \n would be printed, and then afterwards you can you can finish off the loop over there. So this is your whole code. That's only the code you require to have it. That's all. And remember, of course, the return 0 and all that and whatever. I have not taken that one. Of course, before this thing, you are actually going to take the input from the user for the scanf and all that stuff, because you are going to store inside n the number of rows and all that stuff over there. So that will be very easy for you. So this is a very simple code over there in which, and the point over here is that you have to actually make the conditions for which you are going to have this thing done. Remember one thing, before the next part, try to develop the conditions for this butterfly figure. This is actually a very important butterfly figure over there. And you can see over there again, the number of rows are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here, the thing is that here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a little difficult over there. Here, this is running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a little mismatch from the previous one. Why? Because this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a little different from the previous one, this one, but you have to develop the condition exactly like this by using this diagram. We just have to make those hysterics over there and then see how this is going to be developing this over there. I hope you have got the idea how this pattern development and the conditions you are actually going to use over here. The condition, the first condition, which is only applicable for just one hysteric, which is actually at the center. Then you have 3 over here, because 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. So every time the loop is running, you are printing either 1 or 2 hysterics in one line. So in first row, 2 hysterics, second row, 2 hysterics, third row, 2 hysterics, the fourth row, just 1, because the condition is just one, that is actually this condition being fulfilled. So I hope you have got the idea. And just to give you the code, and that is actually the same code over there. Let me just show you the code over there. The code remains exactly the very same over there, and that is this part. So I hope you are getting. So this is the same exact code you can see over there. You are taking the enter, the number of codes over there, input for loops over there, and then this is the condition, which is I equal to j, and then I plus j equal to n plus 1. You can put the parentheses as well, totally up to you. But of course, when you are putting these parentheses, it will first of all equate this and then equate it equal to this thing. And then afterwards, if any of these two conditions, this one or this one is done, then it will be first of all going on to print this static. And with this static, there's a small space also printed. I hope you have getting the idea why, because whenever a static is printed over there, you have to print the corresponding this one also. So that's why this static is being printed over there. Otherwise, this is a the space is being printed, and then you have the backslash and the escape character, and then return off. So this is the X pattern. So in the next part, I'm going to discuss the butterfly, which is actually a little difficult, and its conditions are going to be a little more as well, and it's going to be different as well, and it will be mostly 3 different if else statements over there that will be used over there. We'll talk about this one in the next part. Hopefully you have liked it. Thank you.